Okay, back again, special edition, part two. And if you've gotten this far, you've spent 20 minutes of your life listening to me. We were talking about voices, yeah. Excuse me. You know, there are more subtle ways. You know, you might say to them, gosh, you know, I've actually interviewed people before who hear special kinds of voices or something, you know, whatever. Uh, and, you know, sometimes you can say, gosh, you know, I met somebody the other night and I was talking to them and they said that the TV's talking to them, that the radio's talking to them. Has that ever happened to you? That sounds a little better, you know, than say, hey, man, is TV talking to you? Come on. Again, why am I doing this? I'm not sure, but I think I'll have some fun while I'm doing it. Let's see. Oh, when you show up at a scene, always, no matter what, and normally the cop will be there, I mean, who will come out and meet you or whatever, but always talk to the officer and find out what the heck's going on. You know, what happened, how did the call come in, who called you, and so on and so forth. They're normally going to come tell you all that stuff, but be sure to do that because it's valuable information. The other thing, it's you know, if you show up and hopefully when the call comes in, you'll be able to check the paper file or whatever and see if the person's been seen before. Although the way you guys are working now, that may not be the case. But try to, you know, look in the file, see what's been going on with this person. If you guys have seen the person before. However, if you show up on the scene, you have someone who's grossly psychotic, obviously, been running down the street naked, yelling and screaming, talking about God and the whole works, and is completely oblivious to you even being there, there's not a whole lot of sense in like saying, oh gosh, are you hearing voices? Oh gosh, what day is it? Who's the president? You know, hey, come on. Just detain the person for crying out loud. Oh, one of the things that a lot of mentally ill people talk about is people are poisoning their food. Okay. One night, fairly tense situation, to add a little levity, I turned to one of the people who had called the police and I said, hey, is anybody poisoning her food? You know, just to sort of lighten the mood a little bit. And the woman said, well, last week somebody did put something in her Coca-Cola. So, whatever. Oh, oftentimes you'll get a call and they'll say, Johnny Jones is going to kill himself. Okay. Well, let me back up from that one. And I'll get back to it. When I first started, I'd get these calls to go to the ER and so took an overdose. I'd rush in there, I'd hold their hands, not literally, metaphorically. I'd say, gosh, what happened, Sally? Oh man, I want to be dead. Well, what did you do? Oh man, I took 900 Klonopin and 4 bottles of aspirin and on and on. I said, oh my gosh. So I'd go either get the person admitted to a hospital voluntarily or detain them or whatever. I did this for several weeks. Then all of a sudden it dawned on me one day, oh, wait a minute. So the next time that came up, I went in and said, hey Sally, what happened? Oh, I took 900 Klonopin and all this other kind of stuff. I said, gosh, what did you hope to accomplish? Oh man, I want to be dead. Well, why aren't you dead? How did anybody find out you took these and get you to the ER? Oh man, I called 911. Is this a person who wanted to be dead? Come on, give me a break. Or you go in there and you say, gosh, Johnny, what happened? Oh man, I want to be dead. Well, what'd you do? Oh man, I cut my wrist. And you look down at the wrist and there's a Band-Aid on there. Not even any sutures. Well, what'd you use? Oh man, use a razor blade. Well, I mean, come on. Let's think about this for a minute. You know, you can cut your arm off with a razor blade, I would imagine, just about. So use common sense here. Part of this detaining stuff or person being suicidal or whatever is, you know, at least some intent, you know what I mean? You know, more or less you can say to someone under the circumstances, well, you know, I'm glad you didn't die and all of that and that we're here talking, But, you know, come on. If you wanted to be dead, you know, why'd you call somebody? The other thing you can do is you can literally ask someone, you want to be dead, yes or no? And if they say no, be sure and remember that. You can put that on your form. But in all seriousness, you aren't doing anybody, you aren't helping any of these people if all you're doing is detaining them every time they take a few pills and get to the ER and say they're suicidal. You aren't helping anybody. And unfortunately, that's what you're most likely doing if you're new. It's what a lot of us do when we're new. As I said, I'm going to have some fun with this, if I'm able. But just remember that. It's simple to kill yourself. Come on, think about it for a while. Now, people talk about a cry for help. In other words, they'll say, you'll be at the ER, and Johnny Jones will be there, and his mama and grandmama, and you know, half his family will be there. What's going? It's a cry for help. Occasionally, it is a cry for help. Occasionally, it's normally a cry to manipulate. There's something that they want, and most likely, 70–80% of the time, it's like my babe left me, my husband left me, or whatever. They want them back, and this is the way they're going to get them back. And it's not that unusual to get to the ER and Johnny Jones is laid out in bed and his girlfriend is there, you know, holding his hand, who left him 2 days ago, you know, because the guy's a jerk. But normally there's something someone wants. It's not a cry for help. They want to try and manipulate something. Another good example. Johnny Jones. Why do I always use Johnny Jones? But anyway, is working. He's a crackhead. So he, on his way home on payday, he stops by the crack house and blows all his money. So he gets home and his wife is raising hell with him. And so now he's going to kill himself. What he's trying to do is to divert the attention away from the fact that he just blew his paycheck. Now there's no money for food or anything else. Oh, I'm going to kill myself, you know? So there's normally something going on, normally. There are exceptions, of course, but there's normally something going on. What else do I have here? Okay. Boy, the other day when I did this, I had over an hour, sort of running out of steam. I'm not sure what I talked about the other day that I'm not talking about now. Oh, people oftentimes scoffed at me or made fun of me. I detained everybody who is naked. I fess up. Ah, mercy. The way I looked at it, hey, if you're out there naked, something's wrong with you. I don't care. Speaking of that, oftentimes the police are going to call you and they're going to say, here's Johnny Jones. One of two things. You're either detaining him, not voluntary, you're either detaining him or Johnny Jones is going to jail. Period. That's it. That's the two options. Now, Johnny Jones may have an may have a long history of mental illness. Maybe schizophrenic or something. And of course takes antipsychotics and so forth. Excuse me. But he should be treated within reason, just like any other citizen. If I have high blood pressure and I'm taking medication and my blood pressure is normal, then, you know, I'm sort of the same as a guy who doesn't take medication. We both have normal blood pressure. Now, if this fellow committed this crime, whatever it